Alrighty, everybody. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another live, y'all. Let me go ahead and pull up my chat here so that I can see everybody. But anyways, guys, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Got another update for y'all on this winter weather situation that we're going to be dealing with here pretty soon. All right, looks like everything's running good, so we are good to go. So we got more information now. Here, let's go ahead and bring up the models. It's gonna be one of the first things we talk about here. By the way, did you guys see any Northern Lights yesterday? Did any of you guys see that? We apparently we had that G4 magnetic storm. I didn't see anything here in Florida. I didn't expect us to be able to see anything really in Florida. Apparently, I heard though that somewhere in Jacksonville actually had some Northern Lights, which is pretty interesting. What's up, Ghosted? Good to see you. Saying hey, y'all. Hey, Andrew. What's up? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Queen of Chaos? Saying hey, Andrew in chat. What's up? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. What's up, April? Saying hi from Oakland/Arlington, Tennessee area. Well, it's good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Of course, everybody else who is just now joining. Hope everyone's doing well. Whitney says, I'm in Gulfport, Mississippi. Do I think it could reach this far south? Well, let's go ahead and hop our way over here to my workflow thing I have here on this program. Let's go ahead and actually bring up... why am I spacing right now? Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, so let's bring up my workflows. We'll do this. We'll do precipitation type comparison. So this will kind of show us the different models and kind of where they're at here. By the way, you guys can see the models down here. It shows GFS on the top left panel, Euro in the top middle, the GEM or the GDPS in the top right. Of course, we have the AI GFS on the bottom left and the AI ECMWF here on the bottom middle, and then of course the GraphCast GFS here on the bottom right. So anyway, so looking down in time, you can see that we actually still have a pretty good amount of agreement here. It still seems like GFS is the one that kind of shows less snow, more ice, while literally like every other model shows like heavy snow, heavy ice and stuff like that ongoing. Now, you're talking about, what was it, Gulfport, Mississippi. All right, so let's pull up Gulfport area. I need to, first of all, plug this in over here so I know exactly where this is at. Oh, I know where Gulfport is. What am I saying, dude? All right, so Gulfport is down here. I don't think it's going to come that close to the coast there. Given that you're right next to the Gulf, it's going to make it to where it's going to be a little bit too warm for snow. So, Whitney, I don't believe you're going to be affected by the snowstorm. So I don't think you're going to see it. Ghosted says, my son wanted to see them, but I read we wouldn't be able to see them. I got you. Yeah, I didn't get to see any, unfortunately. I've never seen the Northern Lights. I've always wanted to. Let's see. What's up, Kobe? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Polly? Let's see here. What's up? Is it Tim? However you say your name, I'm sorry. Let's see. You're watching from Southwest Virginia, seeing all kinds of crazy numbers. Yeah, no, it could actually work its way out to the Mid-Atlantic here. This storm really seems like it's going to be a pretty good one here for the Southern Plains. Maybe the Central Southern Plains, the Lower Midwest. The Southeast here, the Tennessee Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and then ultimately maybe even like the Northeast here. You got some models that do suggest. Maybe some of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast getting involved in it. Like I said, we'll just have to kind of watch the models here over the next few days and just see how they, how they kind of pan out, essentially. Because, there could be some changes. There can be some shifts either to the north or to the south. It's still, subject to change here. But the new runs right now, pretty much showing some similar activity to what yesterday was showing here from what it looks like. Which is good. There is still a pretty good amount of agreement here. You got the GraphCast down here that doesn't really show as big of a storm here, but literally every other model does show this system being quite large. And it's best to go off of the majority, and what they all kind of agree on here. Let's see here. When he says I'm north of I-10, I got you. Yeah, I don't think you guys down there are going to be getting it towards Gulfport. You'll probably just get a little bit of rain out of the system more than likely. I really am not super hopeful that you'll get that. Let's see here. Polly says, "Can I check on Granbury, Texas, Andrew?" Yes, I can do that for you. Here, let me go ahead and bring up Granbury. Reminds me of cranberry. Granbury, Texas. Here we go. Oh, this is out by Dallas. I gotcha. So Dallas actually could be in some activity here. The way it looks like, the models do suggest a bit of winter weather out there. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if this is going to be mostly ice or if it's going to be mostly snow or a combination of both. That's the small stuff like that. It's a little too early to tell. The exact quantities of whatever precipitation. From what it looks like, though, yeah, more than likely you'll probably see some forms of impacts here with winter weather. Now, once again, everybody, I don't know if you guys, I don't think I mentioned this today yet. The storm starts on Friday. Okay, it starts pretty much on Friday afternoon, evening. It goes through on Saturday here. So once we approach Saturday, that's when it really starts kicking off here. Then, of course, we go into Sunday here, and it continues moving to the east here. So it really starts on Friday, goes through Saturday, goes into Sunday. Those are going to be the main days of this event here. But yeah, for Dallas area, I mean, including you, it's a little too a little bit too early for the specifics, but you do have a pretty good shot, I do believe, of seeing some form of winter weather, of course. Let's see here. What about Crypto says, what about southern New Jersey? Yeah, New Jersey could be involved here, although given that it's farther east, there's a little bit less agreement here. Given that it is a couple more days out and, most of the event happening prior to New Jersey being impacted. Now, I can't rule it out completely. Confidence, it could be better, honestly. I mean, you can see some models, like you have the AI GFS in the bottom left here, hardly showing any snow reach to the northeast here. Same thing with the actual GFS. But then you got the Euro models, both the normal Euro and the AI Euro. So the AI one's on the bottom middle, and then the normal ECMWF's up in the top middle. So, I mean, Euro wants it to happen. GFS is not so sure. So confidence is pretty low at this point. Once we start having model agreement between the GFS and the Euro, once they both start really showing all that, then at that point it'd be better to assume that that'll be a better scenario, or a better probability, I should say. So we'll just keep an eye on it, but it's a little early to tell right now. What's up, Alt? Good to see you, dude. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Moderate says, "What's up, Andrew in chat? What's up? Hope you're doing good, man. Good to see ya." Apparently I'm a little bit left, or apparently I'm a little bit behind here on the chat here. Let's see here. Watching from the woods, gotcha. Can I do zip code? Yes, I got you. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up your zip code, and we'll see what we got going on here for you. You're up in Texas. Okay, this is basically just Dallas area. Yeah, so like I said, Dallas area will likely see some activity here. Really starting Friday, going into Saturday. Like I said, the exact, amount of snow, amount of ice is unknown at this point. That's still subject to change. Like I said, it could be heavy ice maker, little snow. It could be little ice, heavy snow. That we don't know yet. But models suggest some ice for sure. But remember, that can still change. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But I do think that the Dallas area will possibly be impacted by this. Yeah, there's a pretty good amount of support on it. Let's see here. Can I check what it looks like for Oakland, Tennessee, please? Of course. I got you. Here, let me go ahead and pull this up. I got to figure out where Oakland is. Okay, that's out by Memphis area. So anybody in Memphis, a little bit of a heads up here. So, yeah, Memphis definitely could be in for quite a ride here with the snowfall. It seems like most of the models keep the ice relatively south of Memphis. Now, once again, that can't be said for sure. That's not a 100% guarantee. But from the way models are looking like right at this moment, it looks like that the Memphis area could actually get a pretty good amount of snowfall. Like I said, the exact totals is too early to tell for sure. But there is a pretty good amount of support between like all the models, really. I mean, you can see the Euro, like I said, the Euro is in the middle columns here. The GFS models are on the left-hand column. And then we got the GDPS in the top right and the GraphCast GFS in the bottom right. But, I mean, you can see majority of the models, with Memphis being right here. And you can see that pretty much all these models do suggest Memphis, getting into some of the action. So, like I said, still a little early total wise, but definitely need that area to watch out for it for sure. What about West Central Georgia, specifically LaGrange? So Georgia. Yeah, the impacts here at Georgia are a little bit unknown. You can see there's a lot of models that suggest, central northern Georgia maybe getting in on some of the ice. From the way it looks, I wouldn't think it'd be a lot of snow. Once again, unless that track shifts south, then you'd probably be introduced maybe into more snow. But the way it looks like now, I mean, once again, there's still a lot of disagreement in the models, but it looks like ice would be a main concern. That's for the central side. Now, there's LaGrange right here. And you can see that, I mean, a fair amount of the models do suggest the ice eventually getting into LaGrange. But, exactly how much, once again, we can't really say because we just don't know. It's too early to tell for that. But bottom line, I mean, yeah, you could be impacted, but not too far to the south of you, actually, is where it gets too warm, and actually it just turns back into rain. So we'll definitely just have to keep an eye on it. It's something to absolutely watch, So, anyways, see, I'm curious on Cincinnati because it seems like the models seem to be disagreeing on how far north it expands. Yeah, the exact track is unknown right now. I mean, you can see like the GFS models over here on the left panel. So this is the regular GFS. This is the AI GFS, and you can see a lot of the snow stays out of the Ohio Valley according to these these models here. But then, like I said, the Euro has a different opinion, and actually showing the snow further up north too. Including like Cincinnati, of course, and deeper into the Ohio Valley. That's really what the models need to really work out right now is essentially where everything's going to be. The existence of this storm is, I mean, at this point, yeah, the storm's going to happen. I mean, we know it pretty much for sure because of the continuous model support here, not just from one model, but from several different model runs and different models themselves. So that the confidence is really high on the system happening. But like I said, the exact amount and the exact type of precipitation we're going to see for specific areas is still a subject to change because, once again, this is starting Friday. I mean, right now it's what? Is today Monday or Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. A lot could happen in, like 3-4 days before the event happens here. So definitely watch out for it. I apologize for getting a little bit behind in the chat, so I'm going to try to hurry up here. Let's see here. Free Thinking says you're in trouble. You need to watch it. It's a little hard to tell for sure right now because you're out there by Macon. Yeah, we were actually just talking about this region here not too long ago. Yeah, like you guys could see some ice and stuff like that. I mean, you can see some of the models really do support it, especially Euro. But the exact impacts it's still a little fuzzy right now. It's still a little bit staticky. So we're not too sure right now. Let's see here. Local forecasters are calling for 12 plus inches for South New Jersey. It's too early. Whoever local forecaster you're going off of, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it at all. Reason being is because, I mean, it's way too early for snow accumulations, dude. It's way too early. By the time the storm gets out to New Jersey, it'll be right around Sunday, in which Sunday is like several days away from now. I don't even like to look at totals until like pretty much 2 days at max before. Now, of course, we look at totals like yesterday we did just to kind of see where the models are at. But I don't start trusting the models until about 2 days before the event happens. So, yeah, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't trust that right now. I wouldn't. Let's see here. Moderate says Euro has been on point with these winter systems lately. Something to keep an eye on. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely something we need to look out for sure. Let's see here. ICU wants me to look at a zip code. I got you, my friend. Let's see. You're up in North Carolina. So here's for my North Carolina folks here. So yeah, you guys could be in for something. North Carolina is definitely an area that could be quite impacted, between all of these models here. Except for the GraphCast GFS, which that's kind of the outlier here. But you can see that, all the main models do suggest some of that snow here going into, late Saturday into Sunday, in which most of the models suggest it being mostly pure snow. But, Remember, a single change in the track of the storm, north or south, could throw that off a bit. And absolutely, there still is enough room to do so. Enough time, I should say. Now, like I said, I mean, most of it does appear to be snow from these models, but we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out over the next few days. But yeah, definitely need North Carolina to be on the lookout for this one. Absolutely, absolutely. How is Henderson, Kentucky looking? So Kentucky could be in an area of pretty good impacts here. It seems like the models do want it, especially Euro. Let's see, Henderson. You guys are okay. You're kind of out by Owensboro area. Gotcha. In Evansville. So you are right in here. Now, some of the models, especially the GFS, you can kind of see keeps the snow to the south here. You're just barely grazing the snow here on the GFS models, especially the AI GFS has you getting the closest out of the GFS models. The main GFS just has it almost complete out of Kentucky. But then you got Euro. Like I said, Euro having the storm pushed up a bit further north, as you can kind of tell here. Now, Euro wants it to happen. GFS does not. There's obviously a bit of disagreement here. So can't really tell you much right now, just because of the fact that there's still a bit of a disagreement going on here. Absolutely. Now, if this was like Tennessee at this point in time, I mean, both models do have the storm going over the Tennessee area. So, I mean, Tennessee is likely going to see a bit of impacts, but like I said, whenever it comes to it, with the GFS, not so much, but we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see, the GFS went way south. It sure did, didn't it? It really did. That's something I'm really noticing here is that, comparing to yesterday, the GFS really pushed south, while Euro still kind of wants it to be, further north, actually, maybe towards or maybe including portions of the Ohio Valley. So that is that. Let's see here. All right, JW, I gotcha. Let me go ahead and pull up your area here. Here in a minute, I'm going to have to go down to the bottom of the chat because I'm getting a little bit behind, and I apologize for that. All right, so you're up in central Indiana. So, yeah, kind of similar to what we were just talking about here. A lot of the models, like the GFS, I should say, has the system remaining mostly south. I mean, even the Euro, the Euro AIFS barely has, like, central Indiana getting in on the snow. The only really model here that really wants, like, central Indiana getting it is the GDPS in the top right, as well as the ECMWF, the normal Euro model. The ECMWF AIFS does show maybe a little bit of snow getting out there, but most of it being just to your south and probably for a short period of time. But then, GFS, forget about it. GFS just wants it completely south of you, in total. So, yeah, it's a little early to tell for you. Just given the uncertainty here. And so we'll just have to watch it. I mean, definitely keep an eye on it. It's not a definite no, but it is it's still iffy to really tell right now. All right, let's see here. Oh my goodness, I am way behind in chat. I really apologize here. All right, so let's see here. Do I think the Bullseye could get into southeast Pennsylvania? Well, so in the farther part of the event, it's a little bit hard to tell. Obviously in the beginning of the event, middle event, so Friday, Saturday, it's a little hard to understand what the storm's going to look like at this period of time, yet alone what it will look like on Sunday, whenever it approaches you. So if you did get it, it would be on Sunday. There is models, especially the Euro, like we've been mentioning, that really shows it going further north. But then you got GFS, which keeps it mostly a southern snowstorm here. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, and of course we'll be keeping you guys up to date with everything. I'll be streaming this a lot here over the next several days, so you guys will always have me to keep you guys updated. Let's see here. What about the area right? Let's see, on the confluence of Mississippi and Ohio River. Well, I mean, going from, let's see here. So from Mississippi. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say here. Between the Mississippi and the Ohio rivers. Oh, the rivers. Let's see. I need to pull up a river map, honestly. But honestly, a lot of you guys out there, in Mississippi, between Mississippi and the Ohio Valley, like I said, that's just kind of where we need to figure out where the system's going to go. Whether it being further north, further south, we still need to just kind of wait and see what the models come to an agreement on here as of right now. Let's see. I think Virginia and southern New Jersey and Pennsylvania will get hammered with the snow. It's possible. It's certainly possible. All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here into the chat. I apologize. I'm getting a little bit far behind in the chat here. All right, let's see here. Space says, what about Fort Worth, Texas? Got you. So for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, like I said, from the way it looks, the models do tend to show a bit of ice, being a concern out there. Now, like I said, if it's going to be snow, if it's going to be ice, it's still unknown as of right now. But from the way the models look, it looks like there could be some ice impacts out there. But like I said, that'll be kind of happening here for Friday going into Saturday here overall. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. And you should definitely keep on watching it here. Because I mean, yeah, both GFS is actually something that the GFS and Euro do agree on, is the fact that, we have ice both in, the Dallas area, as well as, Euro also agrees on that too. So GFS, Euro kind of both agree on that here overall. So, anyways, let's see here. What about Canton, Georgia? Here, let me go ahead and pull up Canton, Georgia for you. All right, so you, my friend, okay, you're up in northern Georgia. Yeah, northern Georgia would have a better shot at it. So up here in northern Georgia, so this is where there's a bit of a disagreement here. So some of the models, like the GFS, actually shows a bit more snow, while Euro kind of shows a bit more ice. So that's what I'm saying. The specifics of the ice to snow ratio right now is unknown. We can't be for sure at this point. But the overall impact of seeing winter weather at this point is pretty decent, given the agreement that we have here. So yeah, we'll definitely need to keep an eye on it out there. It could be ice, could be snow. That still needs to be worked out between the models here. So anyways, see a ton of snow for my cousins in Tennessee and Arkansas, hopefully. Yeah, Arkansas, Tennessee area will definitely likely get some pretty heavy impacts here. I mean, you guys are like right between where both of the models agree. Like I said, with GFS having, a lot of it further south, believe it or not, both models, GFS and Euro, actually both do agree on there being some heavy winter weather between Arkansas and Tennessee. So there's a good shot. There is a good shot. Yeah, Roby. Yeah, a lot of people, like I said, with systems like this, whenever we start to learn a lot more about it, in terms of what it's going to do, everybody needs to, definitely start getting prepared for it. Because, I mean, yeah, heavy ice is definitely a huge concern. And, honestly, ice is way worse than snow. Like I said, it takes a little bit of ice to completely shut down everything, and to cause some significant problems. So, yeah, a little bit of ice. Like I said, also yesterday, ice is very heavy, and so it accumulates quickly on power lines and branches, causing those to come down. So that's the real big issue with ice. Also the slick conditions on the roadways and all that. Ice is just not good. Let's see here. All right, let's see here. See, I believe you said the trend further south, due to cold, strong high, which will push this further down south. Yeah, I think, like I said, there's just going to be a little bit of disagreement between the models here. I think GFS, obviously, we do have that high building in up north. GFS, from the way it looks, it just kind of wants less precipitation in general. But also pushed a bit to the south here, as you can see. I mean, for example, here, you got like the GFS here. Euro kind of agrees on this here too, to an extent, but does have that ice line a lot further to the south here. But as of right now, what you need to know is the GFS wants wants the system further south, while Euro wants to keep it up further north. So, And this is to be expected. These models, they're going to be fluctuating here, back and forth over the next few days. I mean, it's just to be expected, just given the range of how far away the system is from now. So, I mean, yeah, it's to be expected. All right, let's see here. Is this going to hit Oklahoma City before works get out Friday? So yeah, everything's starting on Friday. Oklahoma City will likely be impacted. I mean, yeah, even the Euro and the GFS, they both agree on Oklahoma getting the snowfall. From the timing perspective, it looks like it starts kind of early afternoon. It's hard to tell, even with timing like that, exactly when this is going to happen, given the time frame. But I mean, sometime on Friday, probably afternoon, evening is when the system would likely start to kick off here. So you might need to keep an eye on it. All right. Let's see here. J. Ross says, "How am I looking here in Chattanooga? Supposed to go to Nashville for work on Sunday. If I can make it over Mount Eagle." Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, no problem, dude. I got you. So up in Chattanooga, here in southeastern Tennessee. So that's the thing about Tennessee is that you guys are kind of in the middle ground between both models. With the Euro wanting everything kind of further north and the GFS wanting things further south, they both cross over Tennessee. Meaning that at this point, your confidence is pretty high. Even if the storm does go further north or further south, you're still right in the middle there, in which, you could definitely get some pretty heavy impacts. Now, will it be snow? Will it be snow? Would it be ice? That we can't really say. I mean, obviously you got some models here, wanting you pretty close to the ice here, like the GEM, the GDPS wants you in almost pure ice, while the Euro and the GFS, kind of wants you in the snowfall. From now, it seems like snow is more likely, but that is also a subject to change here. But yeah, I mean, Chattanooga area will pretty good shot that you guys will actually get some pretty heavy impacts out there by the Chattanooga region. So definitely keep an eye on it for sure. You said you're going to Nashville on Sunday too. So yeah, that's going to be pretty tricky though. Because like I said, the system's going to be rolling through also mostly on Sunday, actually, Saturday going into Sunday. So it's going to be pretty tricky for you. Please be careful. Seriously. Let's see here. All right, let's see. Can I please show Cincinnati? I really want the snow. Haven't gotten anything in January. Yeah, so Cincinnati, bit of disagreement right now for the city here. The thing is, once again, is that bottom line, European model wants the system to go up further into the Ohio Valley. Including Cincinnati, of course. So here's Cincinnati right here. You can see here on the GFS models on the left panels how there's really not much of anything going on out there. Most of it's further south. But then you got the Euro, the ECMWF, the Euro AIFS, them both kind of wanting that snow out there. That's kind of the main, that's kind of the main thing right now of what the models need to figure out is how far north, will the snow go. Now, right now, the confidence is not super high that you will see this system. It's certainly not ruled out. I mean, honestly, at this point, it's basically a 50-50 shot, given that half of the model supports yes, half the model supports no. Those numbers are going to change quite a bit. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Could dry high pressure in the, this a very strong one seen in the model see trending farther south starting tomorrow. We see if I'm right, but just are you talking about that high? Oops, here, let me get rid of the pen here. So that high, the high pressure here, you can see. You look at the top left here. Actually, I'll make this a little bit better so we can kind of see the ISO bars here. So let's go back to edit layers. I'm going to go ahead and make this, we'll change the color to white there. We'll also increase the width to 2.5. Yep, so kind of where we're at right now, you can see we do have high pressure prevailing right now over the Tennessee, Ohio Valley. we actually get a low that develops here later Tuesday. So later today, going into Wednesday. Then the high pressure builds in kind of on Wednesday here, which I mean that'll build in Wednesday, Thursday. Then we'll have an even higher pressure pull down. That colder air mass coming down from up north. We'll build in here for Friday. That'll be really the beginning of the event there. So, all right, let's see here. What about Tyler, Texas? That is a good question. So Tyler, Texas. Go ahead and go. Is Tyler? Or that's Texarkana, right? Yeah, Texarkana. Tyler was down further south, isn't it? Tyler, like right around here somewhere. Goodness. There's Tyler. It's hard to find on the map sometimes. All right, so there's Tyler. So, from the models, the way that they're at here, I mean, you can see most models do suggest Tyler, Texas being in some forms of wintry weather. Now, the way it looks like, as you can see, most models showed kind of sleet, freezing rain, in terms of ice. There could be snow mixture, mixing in with this, of course, looking like that specifically at this time is too early, because of the distance, how far we are out from the event happening. Tyler, Texas does need to keep an eye on it for sure. In which there could be some ice, could be some snow mixture. From the way it looks, the majority of models do support winter weather in general here. So, all right, let's see here. Roby says 2009 ice storm in Northwest Arkansas was my learning lesson. Unfortunately, the place hit with freezing rain will be when it's real dangerous. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, freezing rain, like I said, ice in general, sleet, freezing rain, no joke. Especially freezing rain, because the thing is, freezing rain, it falls as rain. It just looks like rain, right? But the thing is that your surface temperatures are freezing and below. So as the rain falls, it clings on the objects and then it freezes the way it hit. So, of course, over time that accumulates, and just being that ice is very heavy, it really weighs down power lines and tree branches and stuff like that, which really causes a lot of power outages and stuff like that. So, anyways, let's see here. Roby says that those crossover areas are the ones more likely to be ice. That's the $1 million meteorologist question. Where the line of snow ice / mix? Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I said, right now there's just so much disagreement on where the ice line, the ice and snow line is, and that just comes down to the the path of the storm, how high up it goes, how far south it goes, that'll determine who gets what, essentially. And obviously there's a lot of disagreement with that right now. And, like I said, that's to be expected, this time. So, let's see. What's my opinion on the GFS and Euro soundings for Houston on ice? All right, well, let's go ahead and grab one here. We'll actually pull up the Euro here. I think it's going to be simply too warm, being closer to the coast here, keeps you a little bit more warmer. But we're going to grab a sounding here. We'll go ahead and load up all the sounding data here for you. So I believe you can see we do have this warm layer in the lower mid-atmosphere, essentially, which we zoom in, the surface just almost gets to the point of freezing here, but it's just above. This big warm layer here is going to immediately melt all the snow that's falling from these levels. And once it crosses over, that 0 degree Celsius or that freezing point, then it's going to turn into rain and fall as rain. So, in that particular sounding, it doesn't look like it. It just looks like we're just going to have this really steep warm layer here, kind of in the lower mid-atmosphere like we were talking about. And that's, even knowing your surface temperatures are near freezing, your upper levels are actually a lot warmer than that. So that's going to melt anything that's falling. While, like I said, a lot of people assume that just because you're freezing on the surface means that you're going to see snow. That's not true, because a lot of what goes on above you is very important. That's actually the most important. what the temperatures are doing higher up in the atmosphere, because you get these warm layers that really can come in and influence the precipitation type. If you have a lot of warm air, it melts the snow and stuff like that. It turns it into water droplets, and even if the ground is just above, right near freezing, like it is supposed to be, that would really kind of limit what it could do, and mostly just keep it rain. All right, let's see here. But you did want me to look at the other model too, right? So that was Euro. That's the ECMWF here. Here's GFS here. So we'll go ahead and grab one here. We'll go ahead and generate another sounding. So the way it looks like, when this loads here, yeah. So honestly, they both really agree on this here. You can see we have that warm layer as well. It seems like the soundings are pretty close. Down here between what is this? So we hit freezing, or we go above freezing here at pretty much 700 meters, going all the way up to about 4,000 meters. So that's a good, what is that, like 3,400 meters of above freezing temperatures in your lower mid atmosphere. So that'll keep the temperature warm enough. So as it falls the snow up here, you can see that we have our dew point and our temperature lines pretty close together, indicating that there's, saturation going on here. And of course that we're having, precipitation falling. So it starts up here as snow, right? And then once it passes that 0 degrees Celsius line, then it turns into rain. And even knowing just before the ground here, before hitting ground, it does briefly get back into freezing temps before it's not going to be enough time for it to change back into snow, or in this case, it would actually be sleet, freezing rain. It starts off as snow, and then of course it turns into that sleet and freezing rain here. Anyways, but yeah, like I said, it's just too early to tell, really. I mean, the models, they kind of agree on the fact that Houston's probably just going to be just outside of the, the heavy wintry weather. A lot of that has to do, and what I honestly think a lot of that warm layer is from the Gulf. A lot of that being fed into the system here. I think a lot of it's coming from the Gulf here, that warm layer. Anyways. All right, moving on here. Let's see here. Is Connecticut getting of this? So Connecticut could. It's early to tell, for Connecticut. Really just the Northeast in general here. I mean, given how far it is out and stuff, I mean, you got some models, especially in Euro, that wants the storm to, work its way up into the Northeast, including Connecticut. But then you look at the GFS here, there's like little to no support at all. So it's early to tell. It's really early to tell. Once again, the bottom line right now, the thing is between the models, the key differences is the fact that the American GFS here on the left panel wants there to be the storm further south, maybe even less snow, while the Euro model has the storm actually a little bit bigger, as well as further north. That's the main key differences right now. So that's what we need to kind of look out for. All right, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm caught up here with the chat. Okay. Will there be a northern trend to New Jersey for this glamorous storm? Or ginormous storm? I thought you said glamorous. I'm like, what? So there could be. And Alex, honestly, the way to think about it is that there could either be a north or a south push. I mean, either is just as equally possible at this point. The answer to that is yes, there could. You said, will there be? I wouldn't say 100% yes, but there could be. That's where the unknown is right now, is ultimately where the storm's going to end up and stuff like that. So anyways, what do I think about Middle Tennessee? I think Tennessee could really be in for quite a ride here. I mean, that's the thing, is that's what both models actually agree on. While the GFS, once again, has the storm further south, Euro has it further north, they actually both have a common ground, and that is actually right over, Tennessee here, in which, Tennessee definitely could be in for quite a ride here. I mean, you can see GFS does have some, mostly the GFS AIFS really does show a lot of Tennessee getting it, but then you got like Euro, both Euro, ECMWF normal run, and the ECMWF AIFS. They both do show pretty good amount. I mean, also even the GEM or the GDPS here, you can see in the top right here, shows maybe some sleet, maybe some snow and stuff like that. So, anyways, let's see here. I was wondering if you tell me on the latest snowfall for zip code. Yep, I got you. Let me go ahead and pull it up here real quickly. Okay, you're up on Nashville. Gotcha. Yep. So that's actually kind of what we were just talking about, right around in, Tennessee. Definitely, Nashville could be in for quite a significant storm here. Like I said, the specifics on exactly how much snow, how much ice is unknown right now. Majority of models do want snow to be the main, dominant precipitation type. So we'll see what happens. Let's see here. Eyes says, "How is Strasburg, Virginia?" Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I actually have family that lives in Strasburg, Virginia, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, how is Strasburg, Virginia looking for snow totals? So the exact totals is too early to tell. For Strasburg, it's funny. I know exactly where this is at. This is up in northern. Down south of Winchester, Strasburg. There you go. Boom, got it. So for Strasburg area, the way the model suggests is that, especially Euro, the Euro obviously has you guys in some heavy snowfall. GFS kind of pushes you guys like right to the top of the storm here. So that's where the big disagreement is, between the models. And that's what we need to work out before we really can trust these snowfall totals, is where the system's ultimately going to end up. Even if the weather channel, like I said, I don't care if it's the weather channel that's telling you how much snow you're going to be seeing. This goes for everybody, by the way. I don't care if the weather channel says you're going to get this amount of snowfall. It's too early to tell. It really is. It is way, way too early to tell. And that's something that you guys need to know. The system starts Friday, okay? It goes Friday, Saturday, into Sunday. By the time it reaches the mid-Atlantic, it will likely be here right around Sunday. So that's still several days of changes. You just need to know that's way too far out for trusting any type of snow accumulation, especially when you have such a huge deviation between the GFS and the Euro. You have such a big differential there. Like that literally, you can't trust it whenever there's huge differences like that. So any snow totals, this goes for everybody here. This goes for any snow total map that you see right now about this storm, throw it in the trash. It is not good. It is not good. And it is not going to be very accurate. It's just early interaction for media hype. That's all it is. All right, let's see. Let's see. So is this guy going to be falling in Atlanta? Yeah, I mean, Atlanta could get something. The way it looks like majority of models want maybe more of an icy type of storm for you guys. So we'll have to look out there for that. All right, let's see here. All right, so let's see. Should Eastern Kentucky be worried about, or should they be worried every year they say we're going to get a big snow, but ends up just being an inch? That couldn't be any more true. I know it feels like that. This storm, honestly, I wouldn't be too hyped up yet. I mean, because like I said, there's a lot of disagreement here in these models. Once again, you can see a really key difference right here, just at this particular frame here. You can see the left panels. This is the American models here, the top left and the bottom left. This is the American model. You see a whole lot going on for Kentucky? Not really. But then you got Euro, which you can see Euro shows a lot of heavy stuff happening here for the middle panels, which is the European models. So right now, it's like, who do you trust? You don't know who to trust right now. Because, I mean, yeah, Euro typically has a better rep, but honestly, it really comes down to the different storm, because I've seen GFS overperform over the Euro in certain winter events. I've seen the opposite. It happens for every model, so you can't just fully trust one model. I know a lot of people really love European model, which, I mean, yeah, it's a good model, of course, but you just don't know how to trust right now. Really, it boils down to it. Anyways. Let's see here. I says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. You're very welcome. See, by Thursday, we'll have a better idea, to be honest. Oh, definitely. Yeah, that'll be the day before the event happens. So we'll 100% have a better idea of what will happen. What's up, Dixie? Good to see you. Saying long time no hear. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping by. Alex says, what about Central Jersey in general? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, about Jersey, is that there's too much disagreement here. So say if New Jersey was to get impacted, it would be on Sunday. Kind of the end of the event here. It's hard to tell what's going to happen with the beginning and middle of the event as of right now. Considering we have now a pretty big disagreement between the track of GFS and Euro. But honestly, it's just there's really not a whole lot that can be said right now. I mean, could it be a good snowstorm? Yes. Could it be nothing? Also, yes. Um, only time will tell, really. I wish I could tell you more, but I mean, we just simply don't know more. And like I said, for the people who already have snow total maps out for this event, just completely ignore it. It's just too early. It's just too early. It's just media hype. It really is. So, like I said, the reason it's just too early is because, well, I mean, the start of the event's 4 days out. I mean, I don't like looking at snow totals until about 2 days before the event at max. At max. Any further than that, it gets very noisy. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's too early to tell, really, with the accumulations on this thing. That's why we're not really looking at it much. We're just mostly looking at where the precipitation is in relation to the other models. So, anyways, let's see here. Roby says, thank you for the update. Keep on, or keep doing what you do, Andrew. I appreciate that. Thank you. But anyways. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know here. Like I said, we'll be here to keep you guys informed with everything. So we'll just keep an eye on it, really. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're gonna have quite the high pressure building in up to the north here in front of the system. That's gonna be really supplying a lot of that cold air, though. For the system, and of course, we have that low. Really towards the Gulf there. That's going to be really pulling in a lot of that moisture, which the Gulf is going to be a huge supplier of moisture for this, for this event here. So, but anyways, everybody, well, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let us know. Like I said, we'll definitely be here to keep you guys in the loop with everything. Like I said, right now it's just a little too early, to be for sure, exactly the path and the ultimate impacts here, snow, ice, whatever. So we'll definitely just keep you guys here up to date with everything. I'll even go live again later on this evening for you guys just to kind of help and keep you guys up to date with everything. But if y'all have any final questions, feel free to let us know. Let's see here. Aren't we lacking a 50/50 low for blocking? If you could elaborate on that a little bit more, that would be much appreciated. Not entirely sure what you mean by that 50/50 low for blocking. See, I'm going to the store today. I'm in Dallas-Fort Worth on Friday, Saturday. I'm hoping I don't lose power. Yeah, that could be a real big thing, especially, considering, I mean, both GFS and Euro do show some ice impacts out there that would definitely, definitely be a bit of a concern here. I mean, there's a bit of agreement on that. So, but anyways. But like I said, guys, if y'all have any questions, or if you guys want me to look at any zip codes or anything like that, I will be more than glappy. Glappy? I was gonna say happy, and I was gonna say glad, and it came out as glappy. That's a brand new word. I'm gonna copyright that. Roby says, will I see a snow NATO in my lifetime? Still waiting on one. Very unlikely. I don't think there's going to be much instability. I was actually looking at that earlier. Let me break here. Let's go ahead and go back to the one panel real quickly. We'll pull up the GFS here. Let's see here. All right, we'll go over here. Let's go ahead and add GFS. We're going to look at the instability here. We'll do most unstable Cape here. Don't think we're going to have a lot of instability with this event here. Yeah, I was actually looking at that yesterday. Friday. I mean, little traces, little traces of instability, but nothing for any organized severe weather or anything like that. So that's good. At least there's not going to be any severe weather. Given how low this winter storm is, usually it will keep a lot of that instability out. So, let's see here. So I'd say Friday. If it still looks the same, say I should be wanting some. Huh? Hold on. Sorry, I completely misread that. So I'd say Friday. If it still looks the same, I should be somewhat excited or somewhat excited. I don't know why it took me a minute to understand that. I mean, yeah, but the problem is if it still looks the same as it does between the Euro and the GFS on Friday, I would be a little concerned because we'd really not know, um, exactly, uh, exactly what it's gonna do essentially. 50/50 low is the low, 50 degrees lat and 50 degrees low. Oh, okay, like a symmetrical low. Gotcha. Yeah, it seemed like a pretty elongated low. Let me bring up the. Thanks for breaking that down for me. Actually, I appreciate that. Here, let me pull up MSLP. We'll pull up mean sea level pressure here. We'll do that. Yeah, some terminology I have a harder time understanding than others, so I apologize. Yeah, it really just seems like. I mean, first of all, you can just see this massive high pressure that builds in. I mean, you can see it's likely another thing. It's gonna be very windy. I mean, you can see how tight these isobars are together. I mean, they are like crammed like sardines here. You can see. Let me actually overlay the winds here. I mean, I'm sure those winds are gonna be ridiculously strong. Let's do surface. We'll do accumulated wind gusts here. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna be pretty high. Oh yeah. There you go. For some reason, it's not wanting to load all these panels here. Let me try reloading the 06 and then back to the 12 Zulu. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, definitely will be quite a wind maker. I can tell you that. I mean, just like I said, those isobars, man, they're pretty crammed. But once again, everybody, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out here. We'll go ahead and bring up our precipitation type comparison again. Like I said, this is the best way to look at it right now and just kind of see where the models stand, what they agree on, what they disagree on. So we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop here. But hey, man, I tell you what, I mean, this could be quite a storm. It could be quite a storm. I mean, the majority of models here you can see. I mean, we have 6 different models loaded, and all of them show something happening. But then, of course, you got like the bottom right one here, the GraphCast GFS. This one's like kind of a total outcast here, barely showing like anything happening. But then you got Euro and main GFS models here. They really show it. Also the GEM GDPS too. Let's see here. Dole says, hello from Louisiana. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Say Almost Fire says, what about Fancy Gap, Virginia? Well, let's look at Fancy Gap, Virginia. We'll see what we got going on. Okay, you're kind of southwest Virginia. Yeah, given that you're further south latitudes here, you honestly have a better chance because that's kind of where both models do agree on potentially some heavy snowfall falling here. I mean, you got GFS here in the left panels, once again, Euro in the middle panels. Yeah, I mean, you definitely could be quite, in for quite a bit of impacts here. I mean, also the GEM GDPS here also showing you well into some snow. Like I said, right now it's too early for the exact totals for sure. To be for sure. But what I can tell you is that given the current model support, there's a really good likelihood that you're going to see at least a pretty decent storm here. So we'll keep you up to date. Like I said, we'll be doing so many streams on this storm, y'all. I mean, we're going to be talking about this thing up until it's gone, really. From here on out until the event happens, I mean, we're just going to be talking about it, and we'll keep you guys posted. I'll be doing at least 2 updates a day. I want to do at least 2 updates a day with you guys. One in the kind of afternoon, like we're doing right now, and I'll probably do another one this evening to, keep you guys in the loop with everything and, keep you guys up to date. So, but anyways, folks, well, once again, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. If there's any zip codes you guys want me to look up here so I can kind of let you know what you could see. Remember, this is still early guidance here. This is still in the long range, but given the point that we're at right now, I mean, there's a lot of agreement here, in the system's existence in general. That at that point, yeah, I mean, the system's going to happen, but, what it's going to look like exactly is still kind of iffy. But from the way it looks like in the models, I mean, I think it'll be a pretty pretty good little storm here. Absolutely. Absolutely. But anyways, folks, like I said, we'll just keep an eye on it. We'll keep you guys up to date, and we'll let you know if there's any really any big changes or anything like that. But yeah, going once, going twice. If you guys have any questions before I roll off here, feel free to let us know. And once again, everybody, thank you all so much for stopping by. I really, really appreciate it. But going once, going twice. But yeah, we'll just definitely keep you guys up to date on this. I mean, this could be a real big one. This could be one of the biggest of the year. If it actually pans out to be this, I mean, this could really bring some like significant snowfall totals and even ice totals too. If this really did happen. All right, let's see here. Holly Ann says, "Hi, Andrew. What about Long Island, New York? Let's see. All they're saying here is a possible coastal storm Sunday into Monday. Thanks. You are very welcome. Yeah. So pretty much, if you were to get the storm, it would be on Sunday. So the way that the models are talking, I mean, you can see here, there's kind of mixing opinions. So once again, the middle panels here, these are the European models. So you can see the Euro, the normal Euro, and then the AI Euro. So they both obviously show, like Long Island getting up into that snow there, seeing a pretty decent amount potentially. But then, then you got the American models on the left panels. You can see that the snow there's barely any snow at all, and it's south of you. Honestly, Holly, there's really not a lot that can really be said right now, just simply because of the lack of information that we have, within the models and lack of agreement. So really, it's a hit or miss type of storm for you right now. For your area, anyways, it could be a big one. It could not. I wish I could tell you more, but I would be lying if I told you one or the other, which obviously I don't do here. But there is some areas like we've mentioned that has a better chance, a higher confidence. Like Tennessee, for example, you can see both. The GFS and Euro models do agree on that. Also, Jim. But, for an area like you, in the later part of the storm here, there's just not as much guidance and there's not as much of agreement at all. So it's just a little early to tell. But stay tuned and I'll keep you updated as we get closer because, at that point in time, we'll definitely have some more information and stuff over the next couple of days. All right, let's see here. Let's see, we're both over 70. Should we go to a motel here in Fancy Gap due to power? We have okay. I would hold off before making any decisions, honestly, because it's just early to tell, really, right now. The way it looks now, I mean, for you, there's a good shot that you'll have some pretty good snow. Is there a specific problem or a specific reason why you'd want to go to a hotel rather than staying where you're at? You don't have to answer that, but I mean, because as long as you stay home, you should be fine. But unless there's like a lot of trees or something like that with branches and stuff like that, then I could understand because I've had family that's had a lot, big tree problems and stuff like that. So, let's see here. All right, Todd wants me to look here at Crandall, Georgia. I got you, my friend. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Okay, so you're up in northern Georgia. Yeah, so you guys could be in for quite an impact here from the storm here. Now, if it's going to be snow, if it's going to be ice, we still need to figure that out. But way models suggest is mostly an ice event here. Central northern Georgia should also watch out for the storm here. I mean, it could be pretty, pretty decent. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for you guys. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're in central northern Georgia, I would definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. I'm gonna join when my new card comes. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. You don't have to do that though. Let's see here. Holly says, "Thank you, Andrew." You're very welcome. No problem. Let's see here. You're very rural. I got you. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we'll just keep an eye on it. I'll make sure to keep you updated. Just be sure to, hop on here as we get, continue giving updates, and I'll be sure to keep you up to date with everything. Yeah, for sure. And it wouldn't hurt to just make sure you have like a bunch of non-perishable foods and stuff like that. Enough water to last you a while. Um, but like I said, there still could be some changes. Right now the main thing that we need to figure out here with the storm is the track. I mean, like I said before, the GFS models on the left panel really want this thing further south. The middle ones really show, a lot more snow further up north and stuff. Power issues. Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that's totally up to you. I mean, if you'd want to do that, then that would be, that could be good. That is totally up to you. But once again, everybody, if anybody has any questions, like I said, if you guys want me to look at anything specific either, just let me know. I'll actually pull up the totals, but like I said before, it's just too early to tell. It's too early to take them serious. So just don't trust the totals you're about to see here. I'm gonna go ahead and warn you now, just because they're gonna change a million times between now and then. I just kind of want to. The only reason really I'm showing this right now is just to show you where the models are at right now, and just to see how they evolve over the next few days. So it's important too. Anyways, we'll look at the GFS first. So I mean, there could be quite a significant amount of snow with the storm here. I mean, once again, don't trust these totals, but their GFS wants a heavy streak of at least a foot, extending possibly from the southern plains through the southeast into kind of the southern mid-Atlantic there. Remember, don't take that too serious though, but it could be a pretty good snowmaker for sure. Then we have Euro here. It does kind of show that as well, a little bit further north, but that's what I'm saying is that that's a totally different outcome for a lot of people. That's why it's too early to tell. And I guarantee if I go to the previous model before this, it's going to look a bit different, which obviously it does. A lot less snowfall in the previous model versus the new model showing a lot more snow and a lot further south here. So, let's see here. St. Elmo Fire says, thanks very much. Yeah, no problem. You are very, very welcome. Your name reminds me of that song, St. Elmo's Fire. I haven't heard that song forever. It's a great song. But you're very welcome, my friend, of course. But anyways, folks, like I said, if you guys have any more questions before I roll off here, feel free to let us know. But there's just such a big differential here in the models here. Here's the AI GFS accumulation, big streak there. Let's see, we'll do another one. We'll do the ECMWF AIFS here. I mean, you can see they all show a pretty strong line, but remember, a lot can still change between now and then. So, 12 Zulu has the Mahalo more closed than at 45 hours. Oh, does it? Here, let me pull up the Euro. Is that the normal Euro or is that the AIFS Euro? All right, let's see here. Do I think that Springfield, Missouri will get snow or ice? It's a really good question. More than likely, if you were to get anything, it'd likely be snow because the majority of the line, or the ice line, will be a lot further south from the majority of these models. Let me bring back up our panel here, our workflow. We'll bring up our comparison. Go ahead and zoom back in over here. Okay, so for Springfield, Missouri. Go back here, give it a second to load all these frames. Here we go. Yeah, so that's kind of the classic, Euro GFS differential here. Once again, with GFS having that lower snowfall push, you have the Euro, which has the system still a lot further up to the north here overall. But Springfield, why am I in Oklahoma? Springfield, Missouri does show a decent support. Of at least a little bit of snowfall between most of the models, actually. The main GFS, not so much. The AI GFS does show a little bit of snow, likely, working its way into the region there. But it's really the Euro models that show a lot of it. Also, the GEM GDPS model here showing that. So, yeah, I mean, but your question was talking, will it be more snow or ice? If it was to happen, it'd likely be more snow. I don't think there'd be hardly any ice out there, based off where the models are at right now. So, anyways, let's let's see here. Brussels says, can I check on see here, I'm just gonna go and pull this up for you. I don't even know how you pronounce your town name. All right, so you, my friend. Okay, so you're up in the eastern side of Texas. So you're kind of just east of Temple, Texas here. Okay, I think I got where you're at. So you kind of in this region here. So the thing that you need to look out for is possibly some ice. Whether it being sleet or freezing rain, it would likely fall as ice, not much snow from at least current guidance. Once again, guidance could definitely change, between now and then. There could be a lot of changes here. But, yeah, definitely need you to keep an eye on it for sure. I mean, more than likely, you can see that, 5 models here, 5 out of the 6 models show either sleet or freezing rain falling. So we'll definitely need you to keep an eye on it for sure. And remember, this will be starting on Friday, guys. Starting Friday, going in through Saturday and into Sunday. See here. I'm going to make a reservation at a cheaper price. I can cancel it. See. We had to go during these Hurricane Helene. Oh, yeah. Hurricane Helene was bad for a lot of people, especially North Carolina. But absolutely. No, I mean, that's a good idea. Holly says, let's see, I hope this doesn't turn into another storm like Winter Storm Nemo back in 2013. Why does that sound familiar? Long Island got 30 plus inches. That was a horrific storm. That's crazy. There's not a lot of guidance that suggests that right now. Matter of fact, the majority of the totals here, the early totals are like a little over 1.5 feet in some areas, but yeah. But like I said, the totals right now are just too early to tell anyways. I just wanted to show you guys kind of where the models sit right now, even though it's not something you should take seriously. Let's see here. 12 Zulu Euro has not much change at all. Gotcha. St. Elmo's Fire says, we have a propane heater. See that your house generators. We have a Generac. Oh, it hasn't installed it yet. I just get sick of hearing generator after a day or two. Yeah, that's true. That is true. No, I could understand that for sure. Whenever we got hit by Hurricane Milton down here, our power was out for like 5 days. And all you could hear outside were just people's generators running and running. So I totally get that. I 100% get that. Let's see here. The ice bothers me the most. Yeah, ice is the worst, honestly. I mean, it's a lot more impactful than snow. Absolutely. So I totally get that. Euro AI just has noise level changes. Gotcha. My husband says, thank you very much. Yeah, you're very welcome. Of course. I'm glad to help. Yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out and, keep you guys up to date with the weather here. Bottom line right now is just don't trust snow accumulations right now. If you see any maps showing snowfall accumulations, I'd ignore them for now because that's a subject that's going to change a million times. Those totals are going to shift all over the place a million times. So just completely ignore the totals right now. Now, when you should start looking at them is probably Wednesday at earliest. I'd say probably Thursday would be better. It's when to start really looking at those totals and starting to actually be like, okay, this could be total amounts. See, the only marked difference between the 06 Zulu and the 12 Zulu Euro AI is the Baja Low is held back a little. I got you. Yeah, it's gonna be curious. I'm gonna be curious to see how it looks like by the time we get to Thursday. I wonder what it'll look like then. Absolutely. Yeah, well, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring up the comparison here. We'll reset our thing here. I just want to do a classic. We'll actually look at the latest Euro. We'll pull up the 06 on the left panel here, and we'll pull up the 0 on the right panel here. And then we'll go ahead and add our precipitation type here. Model, precipitation, precip type. And we'll add, just so we can kind of look at the last two Euro models and see kind of where they have changed, essentially. So not only is it good to compare different models to one another, but also it's good to kind of see how models evolved in previous runs. Bubba, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it, my friend. There you go. Okay, one thing I'm actually already really noticing off the bat is that the 0 UTC has a bit more snow further north. I mean, just a little bit further north than the 06. You know what, though? They look a lot different. Wow, look at that. So this is for Sunday morning. Look how different these two runs look. That just goes to show you that, there is still a lot of things that need to be worked out. I mean, even between the normal models themselves, Wow, look at the differences, though. That is a matter of 6 hours difference. Goodness. I mean, the size of both of them are still huge, but remember what was it? The 06 is on the left panel. This is the newest run on the left panel. The older run is on the right panel. That is crazy. This model has it going more into the Ohio Valley, like further up north, it seems. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy just to see the differences there. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like later on tonight, too, with the new runs. Looks further east. It does, actually. Yeah, I noticed that as well. The timing's a little bit different, too. Like, you can see here for kind of the afternoon of Sunday, the older model, the one on the right, shows the storm more to the northeast. The newer model has it still persisting longer over the over the southern central plains. So that's pretty interesting. That is. For sure. But all right, everybody. Well, I think I'm probably gonna roll off here for now. We'll hop back on later on here tonight. We'll give you guys another update here sometime, probably right around 8:00 p.m. Eastern, or 7 Central. So just stay tuned for that. We'll get you guys some more updates then. By then we'll have new model runs too, so it's not gonna be the same stuff. It'll just be different models. We'll see if the models change in terms of the track and the size tonight. See if there's any more agreement. Or if there'll be even more disagreement. It's hard to tell. But if you guys have any final questions, go ahead and throw them down the chat before we roll off here. And if not, then we'll just go ahead and head off. And we'll be back here later on tonight for more updates for you guys here. Absolutely. But I do want to go ahead and say, everybody, thank you all so much for stopping by and hanging out and supporting us. It's greatly appreciated. And, if you guys haven't already, consider subscribing, maybe leaving a like here too. It'd be much, much appreciated. But, all right, everybody. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and roll off here now. Just once again, everybody, thanks for stopping by. And, we'll catch you guys later on tonight for more updates and stuff like that. But, all right, everybody, thanks so much for joining. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.